Welcome students, and in this video we are going to talk about face portrait but in some other examples. Portrait, okay, some other examples. So first problem is this. Let's say x prime equals to minus 1 0 and 0 2, okay, times x. Now first thing first, I need to know. So the question is this: I need to plot the the solution curves. Plot the x1 and so basically here x of t, that is given by x1 of t and x2 of t, right? So I need to I will draw the x1 x2 face plane, and I want to trace the curves, okay. So essentially what we need to do is, first of all, in the last video also we have seen, we first calculate the eigenvalues here. So this is a diagonal matrix, so the eigenvalues here, eigenvalues of A, so I will call this as A, okay. A is minus 1 0 and 0 2, okay. This I will call this an A, so that's my definition. So the eigenvalues of A are minus 1 and 2. Here you do not need to do anything, right, because they are like diagonal matrices, okay. And what are the eigenvectors? And the eigenvectors corresponding to minus 1 and 2 are given by, so I am just writing it down, okay. But of course you can calculate and confirm, okay. So this is what I am choosing. Yes, I will choose my eigenvector corresponding to minus 1, I am choosing it to be 1 0, and corresponding to 2 I am choosing it to be 0 and 1, okay. So in this case it is going to be 1 0 and 0 1. It may not be this in all the cases, okay. So in this case it is 1 0 and 0 1. Clear? Okay. What we need to do now is this. See, we need to we got this eigenvectors, right? So now the general solution, so let's say that's 1, okay. Of 1 is, if you remember, it is a constant c1 type. So let me write it like this: x of t is c1 times e power, okay, where is the vector? Yeah, 1 0, okay, this vector times e power, where is it, minus, so this is corresponding to, so plus c2 times 0 1 e power 2 t. I hope this is clear, okay. So that's the general solution. Now I need to plot the trajectories, okay. How do I do that? So let's look at it. Okay, so I will use some I will color code this x1 and x2 the curves, okay. This is the face portrait, okay. This is the face portrait. This x1 x2 plane, whatever I am going to draw now, this that will be our face portrait, okay. And this x1 x2 plane is called a face plane. Clear? Okay. Now let's look at as I told you. So first of all, so what is the steps to draw this face portrait? So the step 1 is to find easy solutions. How do you find easy solutions? So basically what you do is c1 equals to plus minus 1, c2 is 0, and again c1 equals to 0 and c2 is plus minus 1. Here c1 and c2 is in R, right? It is an arbitrary constant. General solution, so c1 and c2 is an arbitrary constant. So basically I can take the most easy values of c1 and c2 and I can get some solutions out of this, okay. Now let's just draw corresponding to this. So c1 equals to 1, c2 equals to 0. This is 1, this is 0. So basically I have 1 0 e power minus t. If I draw that, so maybe I can start with this thing, okay. If I draw that, so basically this I am drawing, this I am using this color, right, maroon, I think it's called. So 1 0, and it is so this is this solution, okay. This is this solution. So 1 0 is here, 1 0 is here, and e power minus t. See, e power minus t. Now, in which way does it point? E power minus t, as t moves towards minus infinity, sorry, minus infinity, this is infinity, so it is coming from this side, okay, and as t moves towards 0, this is going towards 0. So basically the arrow is in this direction. Clear? So this is for c1 equals to 1 and c2 equals to 0. This one. Clear? Now again the mirror image, c1 equals to -1 and c2 equals to 0, it will be in this side. Okay, so you do realize it will be the same on the same this thing axis, right? Yeah, so please forgive, I mean here the software is not taking exactly on that line. Okay, so I hope that is clear. But one thing is this, now in which way is it pointing? Of course again e power minus t is there, as t tends towards infinity. Okay, this is going towards 0, so basically it is moving in this direction. But I mean one thing you need to remember is it is never attaining 0, it can't attain 0. Clear? Okay, I mean this origin, it can't attain the origin, that's what I am trying to say. Okay. Okay, so but it is moving towards origin, that's quite clear. Okay, now we need to, so these are two solutions, I need another two solutions. So for other two solutions maybe I can use another pen, I don't know, maybe I can use the black one. So maybe the black sheet, this one. So this is our other solution. Okay, so that solution, let's just draw. So you see this is the other solution, this is the other solution. Okay, and this is so basically because this is corresponding to c1 equals to 0 and c2 equals to 1, right? And again c2 equals to minus this part, this solution, and this solution is c2 equals to -1, c1 equals to 0. Here. Clear? This one. Now in which direction does it move? You see c1 equals to 0, c2 equals to -1, so basically t tends to infinity, this is going towards infinity, right? So at t, so basically it is moving in this direction. Okay, again as I told you, for this kind of problems, okay, we always measure the direction in the increasing t. So as t tends to infinity, this is moving in that direction, so it is going away from the origin. As t moves to infinity, it's going away from the origin, and the same thing happening on the mirror image here. I hope this is clear. Okay, now I need to know what happens if c1 and c2 are non-zero, right? If c1 and c2 are non-zero, so let's do that. So step 2. Okay, so you see, as t tends to infinity, okay, c1 not equals to c2 not equals to 0, let's say, what happens? c1 and c2 non-zero, t tends to infinity, you realize that this vector 0 1 e power 2t dominates. This vector dominates, right? Dominates means it is becoming extremely big, and this particular, the red one, the maroon one, is going to be very small. The black one is going to dominate, right? As t tends to infinity, it is extremely big, provided c1 and c2 are non-zero. Okay, and as t tends to minus infinity, okay, 1 0 e power minus t dominates. Okay, why? Because let's say t equals to 1000, minus 1000. Okay, so 1000. Okay, so this is the maroon one will become e power 1000, and this will become e power minus 2000, which is much smaller than e power 1000, right? So basically this is going to dominate. Okay, now what is happening here? If it dominates, what is so special about it? Okay, see, in this case what happens is, for of its t, let's say one vector is this, another vector will look like this, no? One vector is extremely big and one vector is extremely small. So if you add those two vectors up, what will happen is you will get another vector which is very parallel to the dominating one. I hope that is clear. Okay, so this is just for a reference, but you do realize that as t tends to infinity, the difference between these two vectors are going to be huge, right? So the one vector, the sum is going to be dominated by the dominating term. Okay, So in this case, what is happening? So I need to know fill the face portrait up. How do I fill it? So maybe I can use another color coding. Maybe I can use this thing. Yeah? This is for all possible solutions, the other solutions. Okay. So as t, t minus infinity, t going towards minus infinity, this thing dominates, right? 0, 1 e power minus. So basically, so basically the vector will be parallel to this. As t equals to infinity, it will be parallel to this 1, 0. Okay, e power minus t, and as t moves towards infinity, it will be parallel to this. Okay, so it must do something like this. Okay. Of course, this is not not exact, very precise diagram. You do realize that this is just an approximation, but it will give you an idea of what exactly it is doing. Okay. Okay, now the thing is, maybe I can draw it a little bit better. Let me draw it a little nicer. Okay, so okay, yeah. Now, what is the direction? Of course, the direction is from minus infinity is parallel to x1. So basically, minus infinity to infinity, the direction is this way. Okay, and similarly, you can draw the mirror image here. Again, my diagram is, it is not very nice looking, but it does the job, right? I hope this is clear. Okay, and again here also we can draw the face portraits. Okay, the trajectories essentially. Now, why all of this will be, why we can fill it up like this? Because of course C1 and C2 is in R. Okay, so when you vary C1 and C2, it is going to fill up the whole R2, right? And again, yeah, I hope this is clear. So this will actually be the face portrait, okay, of this problem. I hope this is clear. So make this thing, get this. For examinations, I really want my face portrait to look like this, okay, explaining every possible thing, what you are doing, why you are doing, okay, why this looks like this, which way the arrow is pointing and everything, and it should be color coded, okay. So maybe I can make a small note here, and the note I will make it in a red color, maybe pink color, so note for exams, the face portrait must be color coded. Clear? Otherwise, we are not going to accept that. So it should look like this. Clear? Okay. Whatever color you mix, but please remember to tell. Explain which color is which. Yeah. Here, this I don't know. This is the gray color. I think that will actually give you the combination of those things. So basically, this color is going to give you the combination of those. Okay. C1 and C2. Okay, so this is the face portrait for this problem. I hope this is very, very clear to you. So, okay, one very important thing here is this. What do you call this sort of situation? See here in this direction, in x1 direction, if you are moving, it is going towards the origin, right? So basically going towards the equilibrium point. And when it is along the y-axis, it is x2 axis is going to away from the origin, right? So basically, what it is doing is, you can think of it like this. See, you remember there is a similar situation we did in. Of course, you have learned in your several variable course that in one direction it is taking maximum, in another direction it is reaching minimum. That sort of point we call it a saddle point. So this is also called a saddle point. This is called a saddle. I hope this is clear. Okay, because in this direction it is moving away from origin, in another direction it is moving towards the origin. So these are called the saddle. Okay, right. Now, so this is one situation. Let's do another situation. And with this the last example, it will be more or less clear to you how to work with all possible solutions. Okay, and then I will explain to you in the next videos why all of this is enough. There are infinitely many possibilities of taking a vector matrix, right? A. So there can be many different diagrams, but we will actually specify why there are only some particular diagrams which can happen. I mean, it cannot be like any arbitrary thing. Okay, so example 3. A, I am choosing it to be minus 1, sorry, not minus 1, minus 1, 2 and minus 2, minus 1. Okay, and our problem is x prime equals to ax. Of course, that's the problem. Clear? Okay, now the first of all, again, what you do, first thing first, you look at the eigenvalues. So in this case, eigenvalues are minus 1 minus lambda, 2 minus 2 minus 1 minus lambda, that is going to be 0. If you calculate it, I am not calculating it, but you guys can, I mean, of course, do it. It is minus 1 plus minus 2i. Complex one is the eigenvalue, another one is the complex conjugate. I am just writing it to be lambda plus minus, right? Okay, I mean, if you want, you can just remit another something else also, that's not a problem. But anyways, what are the eigenfunctions now? The eigenfunction corresponding to lambda equals to minus 1 plus 2i is 1 and I. Okay, so this is what I need you to do. Please check this part. Check it, that is this is fine or not. Okay, now I hope you guys remember what is the solution. So the complex solution, if you want to write it, the complex solution if you want to write it, how does it look? It looks like x of t equals to e power lambda t, so minus 1 plus 2i t. Of course, you can take the minus also, that's not an issue. I mean, the same thing will happen, some plus minus sign will change, that's not a problem. So x of t, this is one solution. One complex solution will be given like this, 1i. Clear? What we know from our course here is this: we are not really interested in complex solutions, but all our solutions has to be real, because the thing is the coefficient is given to be real, right? So basically we are looking at real systems, so the solution has to be real. I mean, it's better to work with real solutions. Okay, so therefore the general solution, so how do you find a real solution? The general solution x of t will look like this: C1 times, okay, what you do is you write it as x of t, right? Now this can be written as real part of xt plus I times imaginary part of xt. Okay, now of course, I mean we did this thing, right? That real part and imaginary part, if xt is a solution of that problem, then the real part of xt and imaginary part of xt also solves the problem. So I will just write it down what the real part is: minus t cosine 2t minus sine 2t plus c2 times e power minus t sine 2t and cosine 2t. I hope this is clear. Okay, very clear. So this is the general solution. Now please pay very attention here what I am doing. So first thing first, let's say, I mean, in this case there is e power minus t. Now it may happen that for some sort of problem where you are getting eigenvalues, okay, so maybe I can make it a small note here. Maybe I can use the, I don't know, I don't have red pen, no? So this is the maximum red which I get. Okay, so let us do it. So a small note. Okay, see, if the real part is 0, real part is 0, okay, real part is 0, in that case what happens is this terms won't be there, e power minus t, that terms won't be there. So you are only left out with cosine, sine, minus sine, cosine. Okay, and if you want to draw those things, then that will give you some kind of closed curve, right, which is a circle, closed curve. It will give you closed curves. Okay, basically it will give you ellipses. Okay, so essentially it will give you ellipses. Okay, so if the real part is 0, now generally, so this is not also not this case, let it be very clear, not this case. Okay, yeah, this is for another different case which you may encounter, that's what. Okay, now yeah, See, now what happens here is this. Forget about e power minus t. You just look at cosine 2t minus sine t, cosine t, cosine 2t. If I write it down, let's write it down. x1t is c1 times cosine 2t plus c2 times sine 2t times e power minus t, right? And again x2 of t is c1 times minus sine 2t, okay, plus c2 times cosine 2t times e power minus t, okay. Of course t is in varying is in r, right? Now x1t and x2t are given like this. Now if I want to do what, I want to draw the phase portrait from x1 and x2. It is quite clear that if you just square it up, in this case x1 plus x2 square, that is going to be see, c1 square plus c2 square e power minus 2t. I hope this is clear. Okay, so t is in r, of course. So this is clear. Now c1 and c2 is, and c1 c2 are arbitrary constant. You should actually write it here, but I mean I forgot it, so I am just arbitrary okay, arbitrary constant. Okay, I forgot the spelling here, so a or b I am just writing a arbitrary constant. Okay, now I need to know what it looks. See, it looks very much like a circle kind of thing, but e power minus t is there. So basically, if you forget about e power minus t, it will look like a circle. For c1 and c2, different values of c1, c2, this will look like a circle. So kind of a closed kind of thing, right? But you see, e power minus t, what it is doing is that t moves towards infinity, that is going towards 0. Right, so for every t it is coming more, I mean near and near 0. Okay, so let's just draw the phase portrait here. Maybe I can draw it here. Okay, x1, and the thing is this is x1 and this is x2. Okay, x1 and x2. Okay, now how does it look like? Of course, this, I mean, so basically you see, it is kind of a circle kind of thing, but it is going towards 0. You see, it is going towards 0. So basically it will look like a spiral, right? So it's a spiral which goes towards, so maybe I can draw it like this. Okay, sorry, yeah, this is some software problem. Okay, so maybe I can draw it, draw this spiders in this. Okay, so it is coming like this. I hope this is clear. Okay, see, this is moving towards 0. I am not draw. I mean the diagram. I think this is clear to you. It is moving towards 0. I mean, of course, it is not touching 0, but it is moving towards 0. Okay. Now the thing is this. Here we don't look at t positive, t negative. Okay. The thing is this. How is it so? It is quite clear as t moves to 0. See, as t moves to infinity. Okay. I mean e power minus 2t goes to 0, right? So basically this particular thing is going towards the origin. So therefore x1 square plus x2 square is moving towards 0, right? I mean the origin. Okay, how do I put it? The 0 point. Okay, but here the thing is, you see, I need to know in which way it is going. So it can go in two different ways. One is the clockwise direction. So what I meant by it is, it can come like this, right? So clockwise direction, sorry, clockwise direction in this way, or it can go like this. I mean anti-clockwise direction. Okay, it can come like this. Okay, so the question is this: in which way does this work? Okay, so is it in clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction? The direction here. Okay, please don't look at t positive, t negative in this case. We just look at the direction, because this actually gives you a direction fit. See, basically what is happening is, what does this say? It says that x prime of t, let me use this one, maybe, well, yeah. Okay, see, x1 prime is what? X1 prime is minus x1 plus 2 x2, okay, and x2 prime is minus 2 x1 minus x2, okay. So let's say at the point 1 0, some point here 1 0, okay. If I want to look at what is the direction, so this is actually giving you a direction. See, this OD is nothing but actually some information about the direction field, that's all. So it is actually giving a direction to a point. It is actually telling a point in which direction to move, okay. So let's say minus 1 0. Let's take this point minus 1 0, okay. So here minus 1 0. So let's say if I put it here in this minus 1 0, so that will be your 0. No, okay, sorry, minus 1 0 is 1 and this one is 2, okay. So basically the direction field in that point, it actually is in the direction of 1, okay, and 2, okay. So it is in this direction, it is in this direction, okay. So you see this curve, this will actually be in this direction, counterclockwise, okay. Clear? I hope this is clear. How do you determine the direction in this case? Please remember this thing. What you do is you just look, you don't look at, of course, e power minus t goes to 0 and all, that's fine. But the thing is, to determine the direction, you take any point on the curve. Let's say 1 0. If you take 1 0, it will be minus 1 minus 2. So it will point this way somewhere. Minus 1 minus 2 vector, right, at this point. So basically it is going in the not counterclockwise, going in a clockwise direction, right? It's going in a clockwise direction in this case, okay. I mean, it may happen that in some other case it is going in a clockwise, counterclockwise direction, but I mean in this case it's going to be going in a clockwise direction, yeah. Okay, fine. So these are all the cases which we can actually deal. You see, if the real part is not there, then actually in this case, let's say minus 1 is not there. So for some matrix, it may happen that minus 1 is not there, of course, right? So your only solutions are 2i. So in that case, it will be like circles, and we call those things as centers, okay. But I mean, that's not a problem. But here we call this thing as a spiral. Okay, and is it a sink or a source? You see, it is moving away from the origin. See, that arrow is away from the origin, so it is called a spiral source. Okay, I hope all the calculations are correct somewhere. Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, right. So this is how you do it, and we are going to end this video here.